Every age tells its story through power and through the rare minds that dare to understand it. Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Tonight we enter laws 16 through 18. If the last 3 laws were about survival through information, self-interest, and decisive action, then these laws move into something more subtle, more psychological. Not what power does, but what distance does. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. What is constantly available loses value. What withdraws at the right moment gains gravity. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. The unreadable person forces others to spend their energy anticipating what may come next. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. The walls that keep danger out can slowly separate you from reality itself. 3 laws, 1 architecture. Power is often shaped not by force or persuasion, but by controlling the distance between yourself, other people, and the world around you. Tonight, we listen to 2 voices, not to decide who is right, but to see more clearly what truly is.
Most people misunderstand absence. They think power grows through constant visibility, constant access, constant presence. Usually the opposite is true. What is always available becomes ordinary. Respect decays through overexposure. Mystery dies from proximity.
Like perfume left too long in a closed room, at first intoxicating, then slowly unbearable.
Exactly. A medieval troubadour once discovered this too late. At first, his disappearance intensified desire. Silence enlarged him inside the imagination of the woman he loved. But then he pushed further, more distance, more withdrawal, more manipulation of absence itself. And eventually, longing hardened into resentment. Scarcity creates value, erasure destroys it. Most people fail to understand the difference.
Because absence only works while return still feels alive somewhere underneath it.
Yes, distance sharpens perception. Routine dulls it. This is why Deioces succeeded. As long as he remained constantly available, he was respected merely as a fair judge. The moment he withdrew, chaos clarified his value. Absence transformed usefulness into authority, and authority, maintained through distance, slowly became mythology.
The human mind always completes what reality leaves unfinished. Remove a man from ordinary contact long enough, and people begin replacing truth with projection.
Projection is one of the foundations of power. The inaccessible ruler appears larger because fewer people can contradict the illusion. Louis XIV understood this perfectly. Access became ritual, visibility became choreography. The king was psychologically everywhere in the room while remaining physically unreachable. That balance matters. Too much distance creates blindness. Too much presence destroys awe.
And unpredictability is another form of distance. Not distance in presence, distance in certainty.
Yes, predictability comforts people because it allows anticipation. The predictable man can be mapped. And once someone can map you, they begin preparing for you. Bobby Fischer understood this better than anyone alive. His greatest weapon was never the chessboard. It was uncertainty, delays, complaints, sudden emotional shifts, strange decisions no one could interpret cleanly. Soon, Spassky was no longer studying chess. He was studying Fischer, That is the moment initiative transfers.
The opponent stops responding to reality and starts responding to possibility.
Exactly, and possibility consumes more energy than certainty. Prediction failing repeatedly creates anxiety. Anxiety destroys rhythm.
But there is danger in living too long without pattern. Eventually, nobody trusts the ground beneath you, not allies, not enemies, perhaps not even yourself.
Controlled unpredictability is different from chaos. The goal is not confusion itself. The goal is psychological initiative. Visconti understood this perfectly. One courtier elevated suddenly, another humiliated without warning, another restored unexpectedly. Soon, nobody around him trusted their own interpretation of reality anymore, and uncertain people begin policing themselves.
Because confusion penetrates deeper than fear. Fear still leaves the world recognizable. Confusion dissolves orientation itself.
Which is why mystery intimidates more efficiently than aggression. The unreadable ruler appears larger because nobody knows where his limits actually are.
And yet, unreadability creates another danger. The farther someone rises beyond interpretation, the farther they drift from human contact.
Isolation is dangerous for different reasons. Most rulers retreat into isolation, believing it protects them. Usually it blinds them instead. The first emperor of China understood control, but not circulation. Walls, hidden tunnels, secret chambers, constant movement between guarded spaces. He tried to remove uncertainty from his world completely, and in doing so, he removed himself from reality.
At some point, the fortress stopped protecting him and began editing the world for him.
Exactly. Only filtered voices survived access. Fear created distance. Distance created distortion. And distortion eventually became vulnerability.
That is the tragedy of walls. They begin as protection, then slowly become interpretation. The man inside no longer meets reality directly, only echoes approved for him.
Which is why Louis understood something the first emperor did not. Versailles was not isolation, it was controlled circulation. Everyone remained near power, visible, observable, interconnected. Conspiracies struggle when movement remains exposed to the room.
Whereas isolation feeds imagination, not only in others, but in oneself.
Yes, a ruler cut off from friction loses calibration. The isolated mind exaggerates threats, misreads proportions, confuses silence with loyalty.
Perhaps that is the hidden connection beneath all three laws. Absence creates projection. Unpredictability creates uncertainty. Isolation creates distortion. All three manipulate distance between perception and reality.
No. They reveal something older than manipulation. The understanding that visibility, certainty, and access are never neutral in the room.
You've heard both sides. What remains is not said.